Hello team, and welcome back to a new video. It's great to be back, and today we're going to be talking about the Royal Armoured Corps and the Household Cavalry Regiment. In today's video then, I'm going to be discussing how you will go through phase 1 and phase 2 for the Royal Armoured Corps and Household Cavalry Regiment, what sort of courses you're going to be doing, what the PT is like, and then just a short brief overview of the career progression for the different roles within the Royal Armoured Corps, because you don't just go in as a tank crewman. There are different roles within the Royal Armoured Corps. Within the Royal Armoured Corps then, you've got your light cavalry crewman, your armoured cavalry crewman, and then your tank crewman, and then there's also officers for that for each job role as well. The armoured cavalry crewman is broken down into another one where household cavalry are separate, even though they are part of the armoured reconnaissance. So the way it would work then is that all of you will go through the same phase 1 training establishments. So if you're going through a junior entry, that's going to be AFC Harrogate. And then if you're just going in through the normal entry, you're either going to train at Purbright or Winchester. That's for all the roles within the Royal Armoured Corps. When you go there then, you're going to cap badge as the Royal Armoured Corps. So after your 6 weeks, you're going to get your cap badge of the Royal Armoured Corps. You won't actually know your job role till later on, which I'll cover in a bit. The only difference there is the household cavalry. So if you join in either the RAC or household cavalry, they are slightly separate, and that is done through your application process before you go to phase 1. So when you do your long drill parade and then get your long weekend, that's when you get your cap badge. Anyone going to the household cavalry regiment, the lifeguards or the blues, will get their blues or lifeguards cap badge. Anyone who's going just to the RAC, whether that's light cav, armoured cav or tank crewman, you're then going to get the RAC cap badge. And in phase 2 you will then get your respective cap badge for the regiment that you will be joining. So once you complete either your 40 weeks at Harrogate or your 14 weeks at Purbright or Winchester, you're then going to go to Bovington for phase 2. At Bovington, you're then going to put in a triple P, which is your preferences. Okay, so you get 3 choices of the job roles that you want. So that's light cav, armoured cav or your tank crewman. And then you're going to do your respective career courses and continuous training and physical training there. Your physical training is just a progression on from what and a build up from what you've done at phase 1. So it's not going to be seriously hard. You're going to leave phase 1 training at a base level, and then all they're going to do at phase 2 is just step it up a notch, and you're going to work on that. If you are worried about your physical training, your fitness for phase 1 and then going on to phase 2, I have just released a 4-week bodyweight program. The link is in the description. You currently get 15% off if you purchase before the 3rd of March, and that just will help you give a strong foundation base level of fitness, work on core bodyweight exercises to really build a strong level of fitness for you to progress through phase 1 and phase 2. But moving on then, we're going to go on to the different job roles that you could do within the Royal Armoured Corps. So one good thing about the Royal Armoured Corps that is actually different to a lot of the British Army now is that they still actually recruit from their local areas. So I'll put up a picture here of the local areas where they do actually recruit from, and I'll put a link to it in the description so you can actually look at a bigger picture of it. But you got things like your Scot DG that recruit from the Scottish areas, QDG from the Welsh and the Shropshire and Cheshire areas. Household Cavalry actually recruit nationally, so they don't actually recruit from a specific area, but things like Lancers and RDG are more of your northern lads. So they do still recruit from those sort of areas. So if you want to join, say, a unit, instead of actually picking a job role, if you're interested in all the jobs within the Royal Armoured Corps, you could just pick the one that's local to you, and you're going to be in a regiment with a bunch of guys and girls that are from your local area, so you've got that as well. So if you do want to do that, that's a pretty niche tool to the RAC that you don't really see throughout the British Army anymore. The way it's going to work then with picking your job role, like I said, when you get to phase 2 Bovington, they're going to ask you to put a triple P in. You're going to pick your 3 top choices. They could be completely different, or you could more than likely pick very similar jobs for light cav or armoured cav. Like I said, if you're going household cavalry, you're already going to be cap badged. You're going to have your cap badge, and that's going to be slightly different for you. The way that's going to work then is you're going to get to bovvy. Normally you carry out your Cat B, which is getting your driving license, which is really cool. And then you're going to carry out your Part 1 signals. And then you're going to go on to khaki ride, which is learning all your ceremonial duties, ready to go off to Knightsbridge. Because the way it works for the Household Cavalry is you complete phase 1, do a little bit of phase 2, do your khaki ride in Windsor, which is classed as your phase 2 training still. You're still a soldier under training. Once you pass that, you're then going to go to Knightsbridge for 18 to 24 months, and you're going to carry out ceremonial duties. That's what all troopers will do before they move to Bulford and then carry out the armoured role. And then that's when your career progresses. So from there you do ceremonial to Bulford. You're then going to conduct your D&M, which is your drive and maintenance, which is learning all the driving skills and maintenance of the current vehicle, which is the CVRT fleet. So that will get you trained on like scimitars, sultans, Spartans, Samaritans. And then you also then start training to work on the Ajax, depending on what squadron you go on to, because the Household Cavalry is learning the Ajax. And we are taking on the Ajax variants first out of all the regiments within the RAC and the British Army. So if you do want to get on the newest, most updated fighting vehicle that the British Army is going to get their hands on, then Household Cavalry Regiment is most probably the one, because we are going to be getting it first. But for the rest of the year, Royal Armoured Corps is going to be different. Light Cavalry, so after about 3 weeks, you're going to get which trade you've got. So you'd put your triple P in, soon as you get to Bovington, about 3 weeks later you're going to find out what Cat badge you've got. More than likely some of you might have started your Cat B already, and you're going to be doing your driving. You're then going to find out your Cat badge that you are. You're then going to find out what Cat badge you are, and then that's when you're going to start your career courses for the job role that you're going into, because they are different career courses as you're going to be working on different vehicles. So let's talk about Light Cavalry Crewmen first. You've got 3 regiments within the Light Cavalry Crewmen that you can choose from, and these are first the Queen's Dragoon Guards, KCU QDG. You then got the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards, Scots DG, and then you've got Light Dragoons, LDs. So they're the 3 regiments that you could choose if you're going to go through the Light Cavalry Crewmen. So Light Cavalry might be something for you. You get to work on the Jackal 2, which is a fast and agile vehicle. It's most probably one of the best vehicles the British Army have got. I used to be a driver for it. It's an absolute brilliant vehicle to drive. Amazing. I highly recommend it. If it is a job role that you're thinking of going for, then I can recommend it. Obviously I've not done that job role within the Light Cavalry, but I've definitely driven that vehicle, and it's a great vehicle to work on. Seriously reliable, fast and agile, and it gets pretty much across any terrain. And the way it worked then, after about 3 weeks you'll get told you're going to one of those 3 regiments, and then once you've got your Cat B licence, you're then going to start your D&M, which is your driver maintenance. You're going to do all the driver maintenance for that vehicle, and when you complete that you actually come away with a level 2 engineering qualification. So it's a level 2 NVQ, and that's across the Royal Armoured Corps. So depending which D&M you do for whatever vehicle, you will still walk away with a level 2 NVQ engineering. Once you've completed your D&M, then you've got your Part 1 signals. You're then going to do some continuous training, ranges, weapon handling, and then you're going to then go on to your L7, which is learning the GPMG, which is a weapon system that we all need to know within the RAC. Once you complete those courses, you're then going to move on to unit. That can take around 20 weeks to complete. Once that's complete and you rock up to unit, you can expect to be a full crewman after about 18 months. So that's D&M trained, gunnery trained, and signals. So that means you can do any job role apart from commanding on that vehicle. You can sort the comms out, you can do weapon systems, which include HMG, heavy machine gun, GMG, grenade machine gun, driver maintenance, and like I said, comms. Once that's done, you're then going to go on to your PNCO, which is your potential NCO cadre, which just shows that you've got the potential to become an NCO, so you can then be eligible to pick up and be substantive in the Lance Corporal. You then go on to JCC, and at the end of JCC, you're going to get a skill at arms. That's going to make you eligible to be a full corporal. And then after that, you want to aspire to go on to crew commanders, which is going to enable you to be a commander. You're going to be just as good at fighting and reconnaissance of the vehicle as you are on foot. You need to be highly skilled on both, and within the Light Cavalry you're going to get to do that. So if the Light Cavalry isn't for you and you want to go a bit more armoured, so you've got your Armoured Cavalry, there's 3 regiments within that. You've got Household Cavalry Regiment, you've got the Royal Lancers, and then you've got the Royal Dragoon Guard, your RDG. Okay, and that's going to be more of your armoured reconnaissance, currently using the CVRT fleet, but moving on to the Ajax variants. The way it's going to work for the Royal Lancers and RDG is pretty similar for light cavalry. You're going to go from phase 1 to phase 2. You're going to find out your CAT badge after about 3 weeks, and then you're going to you complete your Cat B, get your driving licence. You're then going to complete your D&M, which then enables you to get your Cat H licence. Okay, so that's for tracked vehicles. So at 18-year-old lads, you're then going to have your Cat H licence, which is tracked vehicles. You do your Part 1 signals as well. You'll do some L7 GPMG training. Once you've completed that, you're then going to go on to unit. For Household Cavalry, like I said, you do Part 1 SIGs, normally get your Cat B, and then you're going to go off and do khaki ride. 18 months to 24 months ceremonial before you move to Bulford. Then you're doing your D&M phase. Career progression for armoured reconnaissance after that then is you have your D&M. You then go and do your Part 2 signals, so you're a bit more experienced within your signals. You then got gunnery, so you'll do gunnery within house, so within your regiment, and then you go finish that off in Lulworth, where you get to do firing, which is the best part of the gunnery phase. And then career progressions very similar to the light cav. You need to do a PNCO to become a substantive lance corporal. You do a technical course as well, so you'll pick either gunnery, signals or D&M, and then you're going to learn a little bit more about one of those three trades, become a bit more of an SME. Once again as well with the D&M, you're going to get your level 2 NVQ engineering. Once you've done your PNCO, you do your JCC, which is then going to make you eligible to be a full corporal or a lance corporal of horse within the Household Cavalry Regiment. And then once again, you're going to aspire to do crew commanders, to become a recce commander of an armoured vehicle. So that's like the pinnacle of your career. It's where you all want to aim to be. Next then you have is your tank crewman. So you can put your triple P in, pick one of the trades, and then you might get tank crewman. So the three regiments that you could end up are the Royal Tank Regiments, your RTR, the King's Royal Hussars, KRH, or the Queen's Royal Hussars, QRH. And once again, they do recruit from their respective local areas. The picture has been on the screen and you can see a picture of it through the link in the description, and you can find out from your local careers office as well. Once again, tank crewman is pretty similar to the rest of the Royal Armoured Corps. They're all very similar going through. You're going to complete phase 1, arrive at phase 2. After about 3 weeks, you find out which Cat badge you got. If you have got one of the tank crewmen, you're then going to complete your Cat B licence. You're then going to go on to your Cat H, so that's your D&M phase, working on the Challenger 2. So you will become a fully qualified tank driver by the end of that. Or you could go on to your gunnery course. Either course is about 7 to 8 weeks. And then once again, you're going to go on to your Part 1 signals, learning your basic communications. Career progression after that is, I don't have much information on this, but I do have a little bit of information. The way it normally works is you're going to be a driver, you do your gunner, drivers or gunners, and then you work your way through, do your PNCO to become a lance corporal, then you're going to want to be corporal, and then once again you find a course that you really want to do, which is the pinnacle of your career, is becoming a tank commander. Okay, that's where you're going to go into your crew commanders again, and then that's when you become a commander of the tank, okay, the Challenger 2, okay, the biggest fighting vehicle that the British Army has. So there's a bit of information on the different job roles within the Armoured Corps. You've really got, basically, you got light cavalry and armoured cavalry, where you're going to specialise in reconnaissance, whether that be within the Jackal 2 or the CVRT at the minute, but moving on to the Ajax variants. And then you've got your tank crewman, which is working on the Challenger 2, where you're going to specialise in tank warfare, and then use the British Army's only tank, which is the Challenger 2. If you are going to choose the Household Cavalry Regiment, then remember that you are going to do your ceremonial duties for 18 to 24 months before you then move to Bulford to train into armoured reconnaissance. Career progression is very similar throughout, like I said. You're going to start off doing your D&M, becoming a driver, work up to do your gunnery course, and then onto your crew commanders, which is the pinnacle of your career, where everyone wants to end up as a vehicle commander, whether that's Jackal 2, your armoured reconnaissance, or within one of the tank regiments. Along the way as well, when you do end up as a vehicle commander, and you are going to get to do another qualification as well, which is an instructor qual within D&M, so that's driver maintenance. You're either going to be an instructor for signals or for gunnery. totally up to you which one you want to do normally. Sometimes you may get pushed towards one of them depending on what the regiment needs, but normally it's up to you which route you're going to want to go down. Also, like I said, another good thing as well, once you complete your D&M, you're then going to get your level 2 engineering. For that, if you then go and complete your technical phase for D&M, so that's becoming a bit more of an SME with D&M, you will then get your level 3 MVQ. If you choose to do signals, you then get a level 3 MVQ within telecommunications. So if you do D&M, you'll get a level 3 MVQ engineering. Signals, you get a level 3 MVQ in telecommunications. So you do get to walk away with something to then take on to Civvy Street. So they're the 3 different job roles. They can lead to many different things. It just totally depends on what you want, whether you want to work on a lighter vehicle and be more on foot with the Jackal 2, whether you do want to do a bit more armoured reconnaissance, do more reconnaissance from a vehicle, a bit of formation recce, or whether you just do want a bit more fighting combat and then following up the armoured reconnaissance within a Charlie 2. Once again, the choice is always down to you. I hope the vehicle was passed on a little bit of information. I just wanted to give you a bit of an insight how life will work once you leave a phase 1 training establishment. So give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. It really helps the video with the algorithm, and I'll see you soon.